Okay, the case is that you have Susan, one of your better salespeople, unfortunately not producing lately. You asked the reason why. She said that the customers need a little bit more time, a little bit more longer time to actually make a decision, right? So that is the reason she gave. Typical sales coaching situation, right? So what are some of your thoughts? Let's start with this table first. Anyone?
One of the things that we'd like to understand why they need more time. So
why do they need more time?
Yeah.
So you want to find out more. Any other?
Overall, we look at our activity report, how many clients received,
Okay.
proposal she's doing, and so on, if she's still very active.
Okay. So I want to see activity reports. What about here?
Has she been building up enough pipeline other than the existing customers?
Okay. Is there a pipeline? Is there people on other prospects besides the regular ones? Okay. What else? When you see such situation, what is your first instinct?
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no. Why?
But she should be okay, she has a target and she's not.
Okay, she's not meeting a target, so it's oh no. What else? Why is it oh no?
Could be also quite, let's say, normal. If she's been one of the best salesperson,
Yes.
it's difficult to sustain this position.
Uh-huh.
So she has higher sales in the previous months or previous years.
Right.
And at some point, maybe it can go down.
Okay, so she could go up and down. Okay, so any other instinctive feeling?
she's on her way to another company.
She's on her way to another company. Thank you. Right. So it's a typical instinct. If you're a sales manager, and something like this happens, so the first thing that comes to mind is she going to work for someone else? Should be Okay, so that's the first thing you will think immediately. Now, if you were to act on your instinct, what would you say to Susan? Hi, Susan. Are you going to work for someone else? No. Okay, so if you want to really say that, what will happen?
You break the trust.
You break the trust. Well, she will actually work for someone else.
Yeah.
So that will happen. So what we want to do is, if we want to look into sales coaching, well, we can use actually what is called the 6 thinking hats model. How many of you are familiar with the 6 thinking hats? Anyone? Heard about it? Yeah. Okay, Joanna. If you've been to some of our breakfast this morning, we've mentioned that a number of times. If you want to have more information, this is Jin. Hi. Okay, this is Jin. Jin's from Developed China, so she helps around with the 6 thinking hats formal training. So just an outline in sales coaching. Now, if you want to face a similar situation here, the danger that we have is that we act on our instinct, right? We have negative feelings and we think about the worst, and that's okay as long as you don't act out the worst case scenario. Okay, so if you want to go into this kind of situation, what could be better is you start with what is known as the blue hat, right? The blue hat in the 6 thinking hats, basically blue. Blue is the color of the sky, in a way. Theoretically, it is the color of the sky. The sky in Shanghai is usually not blue. Okay, so well. The sky, right? So basically, anything on the sky, one of the key things we want to start off first is, what is your goal of that sales coaching? And by the way, we'll be sending this in PDF to you, so you don't have to take down every single thing, right? So what is the goal of that sales coaching? If you face this kind of situation, what is the goal you want to have? Right? Is it because is your goal finding about what's going on with Susan? Or is your goal finding out about what can Susan do to achieve her targets, right? Or is it something else? Whatever it is, you got to think. As long as you know what you want, then you have the process in getting, or you have the process in talking to Susan to get what you want. Okay, so it could be the goal about whether you want to find out about what's going on with Susan. It could be the goal about, are we meeting our sales targets this year? It could be a goal about what's happening with our customers. or it could be all of the above. Okay, so think about what will be some of your goals first in that blue hat. And then based on that, what is the current situation? We mentioned a few things. What is the core reports? What is the pipeline? What are some of the customers' objections? What are customers actually thinking? Right, all these are great information. That is what is captured in the white hat. White basically is the color of paper. Right, it's where you take down information. Now the thing is, if you are looking at what's in Susan's pipeline, okay, what do you think will be your initial goal? What do you think will be your blue hat? If your information here is to look into what's in her pipeline, are you going to meet your target, or how can I help you to meet your target? So that will be the goal, right? So the information will flow with the goal. On the other hand, if you're looking at what are some of the customers' concerns, right? I mentioned the information is I would like to know what is the customer saying. So the goal implied is that how can I take care of my customers? How can I persuade my customers to buy now? Okay, so it depends on goal. You have information, and based on that information, look into the yellow hat. Well, yellow. What does yellow signify? Or what comes in yellow color? Gold. Yes. Right, gold, yellow basically are things that are nice, or it can be sunshine, right? Yellow are things that are nice, things that are good, things that are positive. So it can be what are the key strengths of Susan. It can be what is the positive situation that we have now. Okay, it can be anything that is going on for us, despite the fact that in the initial situation, okay, in terms of what Susan is facing, okay, it could be quite difficult. You have a top salesperson not performing well. Customer says they are going to make a decision later. Okay, it might be a very bleak situation, but we would like to find out what else is good in there. Okay, and the yellow here could be found in what is your white hat. We mentioned about what else is in the pipeline. Which other prospects is Susan seeing as well? Maybe there are some possibilities over there rather than the ones that she's chasing. Okay, maybe in terms of what the customers say, they may have some concerns which Susan is not able to take care of, but it's something that company can do. Right? It's not regular stuff, but those concerns are they are solvable, so they're positive. Okay, so we're look into what are key strengths, what are positive things, and with the positive things, we will also look into. When we see the positive things, we want to see the negative as well. So what else needs to be improved? Okay, what is the situation now in terms of how is Susan doing? What is she thinking about? What are the customers thinking about? What are my objectives? Now, given all that we have, and we analyze situations, what are the positive aspects? What will be some of the negative aspects? The black hat, right? And black is the color of Darth Vader, right? Star Wars. Yeah. So black, usually the negative side. So we want to look into what else can be improved. Now, the reason we phrase the black hat as what needs to be improved is this. Usually we ask people, what do you think you are good at? What do you think you are weak at? Okay, this is what we ask salespeople, and salespeople tend to be very defensive about what they're weak at. Okay, in fact, just to rephrase, salespeople in China are shy and what they call humble when you ask them what you are good at. So when you ask them, what do you think you're good at? Well, nothing. And then when you ask them what you are weak at, what you are bad at, they say, well, nothing too. Right, so you're shy when it comes to the good parts, you're defensive when it comes to the bad parts. So rather than asking them which areas you are weak. We ask them which areas you think you need to improve. Which means the same thing, except that in terms of feeling, it feels a lot different. Okay, so even with the scenario that we have just now, Susan with customers who are delaying their decisions, well, we can, if it's an issue that we want to take with Susan, we can ask her, so what else do you need to do with customers? What other areas do you need to find out from customers? Who else can you talk to? We look into what needs to be achieved rather than, oh, you did not find the boss. You did not find the end users. You did not get enough information. You did not fill in good call reports. Right? These are negative phrases, negative ways, and they put people on the defensive in a coaching situation. So we just want to rephrase it into a more positive spin. Right? There is also a reason for the sequence of having the good before the bad. Okay, and the reason is this. Now, we tend to look at the bad things more than the good things. Right? Just to give an example, how many of you need to report to someone else? I mean, you may be the boss of someone, but you have a bigger boss. Okay, you have a bigger boss. Right now, if you have a bigger boss, and your boss talks to you, I suppose your boss talks to you daily, if not verbally, at least on emails or on SMS. Right? Now, out of 10 communication with your boss, right? How many of those are positive, and how many of those are negative? Out of 10 conversations with your boss, anyway, how many of those are positive feedback? As in, good job, well done, you did a great job. And how many of those are used? A lot. That's good. That's good to know.
I would say half and half.
Half and half, okay. Sometimes what we found is, especially with salespeople, out of 10 conversations with bosses, 8 out of 10 tend to be negative. 2 out of 10 tend to be positive.
It depends what you call negative and positive. When we give feedback to ourselves,
Yes.
to our team,
Yes.
we think what is constructive
Yes.
critics,
Yes.
how to improve for the next time.
Right, that's good.
You can qualify this as a negative rather than when we say, okay, congratulations for this new sales.
Sure.
But many times this is how we think you could do to improve the next time,
Sure, sure.
which I don't know, it's really negative.
Could be.
but,
It could be.
We have better sounding words like encouragement and
Yes.
challenges,
Mhm.
things like this.
Okay.
Opportunity to improve.
Exactly.
Right, and one of the key things that one of the things that we want to do is also, or we can look into is this. Now, assuming that you go to a hotel like this, or a restaurant, or somewhere, and the service was very good, the food was very good, the price was very reasonable. Now, when you go to a restaurant, how many people would you take the initiative to tell that this is a great place to dine? As in taking the initiative, not waiting for someone else to ask you where's a good place to dine. How many people would you go out there and ask first?
To ask or
No, to tell and say that
10.
10.
All my friends actually.
all the friends, as in proactively, you had a great dining experience, how many people would you go out there and proactively tell them this is a great place to eat? One or two? Right, now on the other hand, if you go to a restaurant, the food was horrible. The service is
wrong.
the service exists to make you unhappy. Well, the service exists to upset you. And the price is, let's just say that you need to take a mortgage to pay for it. Okay, so when it come up from this restaurant, how many people would you tell that this is horrible? Please don't come here. A lot of people. In one word, everybody. Yeah. So the thing I'm getting at is that we tend to look at the negatives more than positive. Now, coming back on constructive criticism or constructive ideas, again, we tend to look at the weaknesses a lot more than the strengths. Okay, and in objective sense, that may be the case. Now, what we want to do is to put into perspective so that we look into the strengths first, then the weakness later. Why? Because sometimes when we start going on the weaknesses, we may not end, and we may just find only weaknesses. And when it comes to the strengths, we can't find anything. Okay, so that is the reason why. Just to illustrate this. Now, take around at this room, finding out what are the things that are white. White, yes, white. Just come to mind what are white things. Right. So now what I need to test you, all right? Close your eyes, and tell us how many things are blue. Okay, now open your eyes and see what are things that are blue. A lot, right? And especially the tablecloth and the water, the mineral water. Yeah, so that's blue. Right? When you see white, you see the plates on the table, right? And you miss out the blue tablecloth. You miss out the blue water, which is on the table itself. Okay, so what I'm getting at is, when we are focused on one thing, we tend not to focus on the thing that is just right next to it. Okay, so in that sense, when we focus on the negative, sometimes we get so focused into the negative, we just cannot see the positives. And the negatives happen to be something that happens more naturally to us. It's not right or wrong, it's just the way we are. Okay, so to just counter that effect a little bit, what we do is we look into the young hats, the positive things first. What are good things about you? What are the strengths? What are things that we can do to make things better? Then we look at the negatives. What's not going right? What's working against us? What needs to be improved? Okay, so that's a sequence. Now you have the good, you have the bad. What's next? Ideas. What else do you need to do to bridge the gap? What can be done to make things better? Now, the green hat is not the green hat in the Chinese sense. Yeah. So, green hat in the Chinese sense is to be coupled. So, just cultural, cross-cultural communication. Right. So, green without the hat, just green. What is the color of green? What does green stand for?
Hope.
Sorry?
Hope.
Hope?
Green fields.
Green fields, right? So it's a color of spring. So this is color of new possibilities. What else can be done to make things better? We are faced with a problem. These are some of our strengths. These are ways that we can exploit. These are some of the further opportunities. These are the weaknesses and the threats, the black hats. So what can we do to exploit some of the opportunities? What else can be done so that we find some creative solutions? Now, why is it that in China we tend not to be as creative as companies, not as individuals, as companies compared to, say, the States, the US? I'll just give an example. We have a very nice animation movie recently called Kung Fu Panda, Kung Fu Sheng Mao. Right, and where is it from? Hollywood. Whereas panda is China's national animal or mascot. Right, so why is it that Hollywood has got a movie about panda and everybody likes, and China doesn't have? That's a bigger picture, but in general things, generally speaking, as companies, Chinese companies tend not to be as creative or innovative as US companies or Western companies. Why? Is it because Chinese people are not creative, or is it because of something else?
I think it's because of something else.
It's something else. So what is it? Culture. Which aspects of culture? Well, this is the typical, I wouldn't say Chinese, it could be Asian meeting, right? Internal meeting. Basically, the boss says, so, our sales is dropping. We need some ideas so that we can boost some sales. And then we have a new salesperson who has been, it's the first meeting that's been to, and tells the boss, boss, we should reduce price by 50%, then we will make the sales. And then what will the boss say? You stupid idiot! How can we reduce price by 50%? Right. So this is what happened generally. Okay. So if you raise an idea, it could be objectively a very stupid idea, but you raise an idea anyway because the boss asked for ideas. Right. The boss says, our sales is dropping. Any ideas? And you raise an idea, and it could be a really objectively really an invalid idea. But the boss gave a black hat a huge negative criticism of that idea in front of everybody else. You stupid idiot, and all that. Will that person want to contribute any further ideas in the future? No. Will other people who have seen and witnessed the whole situation want to contribute better ideas than the first one? Not really. At best, my idea, no matter how good, could be 50-50. The boss may like it, but the boss may also not like it, so I better shut up. Right? And thirdly, good ideas. Do you think good ideas come up in the front or come up at the end of a brainstorming session? When I have good ideas, do you think they come up immediately, or they come up after some brain searching, squeezing every juice of a brain, and then you have some great ideas? They're more at the end, right? So the ideas that come up front are ideas that we all know, the ideas are all familiar, and if they had worked, they would have worked, right? So, but without the weaker ideas in front, without the more general ideas in front, you probably will not get to the end of the better ideas. So if you jump in with a black hat to say that that's a stupid idea, that's a bad idea, it's going to kill off future ideas. It's going to kill off enthusiasm to give ideas. Okay, so that's one thing, one of the reasons why Chinese companies tend not to be as creative. Not because we are not creative, but because the culture in the company tends to discourage creativity. Okay, that's usually the case. So if you have green hat, some key rules is that let the ideas flow. Okay, let people, well, if you have ideas, let ideas flow. Let's not be judgmental for a while. It could be from the bottom of your heart, it's a stupid idea, but let more ideas flow. Okay, so that's a part of the green hat first. We'll talk about how we make use of these hats in a while. Then after the green hat, we may want to use the red hat. How do you feel? We have different ideas. Which of those ideas do you feel will be workable, will be feasible, that you feel most comfortable, that we can actually do something about it? Right? How do you feel about our conversation? How do you feel after you have presented your ideas with the customer? Right? One of the key reasons we put red basically is the color of emotions, right? And in terms of coaching, we also need to understand the emotions of the other person. Whether that person is really buying into your ideas, whether that person feels comfortable with what you're saying, with what they're saying, with your suggestions. Right? One of the worst things that can happen. Again, typical Chinese company. We have a meeting, the boss comes in, and the boss says, no, we need to cut costs. And to cut costs, these are the 5 things we need to cut costs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does everybody agree? And what is the response? Agreed. Great! End of meeting. Let's go. Right? This is what happens, right? And then we go around to the pantries where people are having coffee. We go around to the toilets where people are having the smoke and whatever. And then you hear conversations. The boss must be crazy. Right? This cannot be done. We cannot cut costs like this. Right? We have other objections outside of that meeting. Now, why does it happen? People expect, right, in general terms, people expect not to say no to the boss. Or people expect, rightly or wrongly, the boss does not want a no answer in public. Right? And as a result, the boss also does not look into what are the feelings of the people. You know, do we have buy-in? Do you all agree as in wholeheartedly to what I've said? If you have objections, it's better to raise it so that we can resolve them, rather than say yes and then do something else. Okay, so it's some part of the emotional aspects that the boss is not handling, and we have sort of a yes, but actually means no behind the scenes, right? So it's part of coaching. If you want to get people to commit to some action steps, you may want to make sure they feel comfortable, they feel committed, they feel motivated about it. You know, so it's that's the emotion. And the next thing is, again, the blue hat. Different from blue hat. Blue hat can be the goals that you want to achieve. The blue hat can also be what are the next action steps. Because in coaching, it's not just about making you feel nice, feel good, feel great. That's part of it. Right? In sales coaching, it's also about, well, you feel great, we have a solution, it's something that you and I are committed to working to. So what's next? Are you going to, is Susan, in the case just now, is Susan going to talk to the customer and find out more information from the customer? That could be one possible next step. Or the next possible next step could be, am I, as a sales manager, going with Susan to see one of the key customers? Or it could be, based on the information that we have, we should actually get Susan to explore other people in the pipeline. Okay, so whatever is next, we will want to know what, where are we off from here, and if we have any further checks, further milestones, and we want to check in the later part, that could be one of the next steps. Now, I mentioned about different hats, and one case I just want to touch on a little bit is how it's being used. In the example I raised just now in that coaching session, basically the hats here are being used as categories of how, or not categories rather, it's actually sequences of how you think and how you do the coaching and how you communicate with the salesperson. Where the hats are not categories, the hats are more of thinking sequences. So what do you want to think first, what do you think second, what do you think third, and so on. So this is an example. It doesn't mean that for all sales coaching you follow the same sequence, right? It's just a typical sequence that we find that it's quite handy for a typical short sales coaching session. If the problem is huge, you may want to have more sequences of hats in the whole conversation. Right, the hats usually, initially was created for the purpose of meetings. Why meetings? Because now if we have a meeting that has about 10-ish people, 10 over people, and the purpose of the meeting is to solve a problem or to come up with creative ideas or come up with new strategies. Right? How long will that meeting last? You have a meeting about 10 people, and we're talking about mapping strategies, we're talking about solving big problems. How long will that meeting last? Usually. Long. 2 hours? Maybe, sometimes 3 hours, right? About 2 to 3 hours on the scale of those kind of meetings. And the biggest part is not about the length of the meeting. The biggest problem of those meetings is what happens at the end of those long meetings. And usually what happens? Nothing.